Great to have you here. The details now. The search for at least 3 Takoradi girls who've been missing continues. The police has been holding suspect Samuel Owusu Wills, who appeared before a Takoradi magistrate court on Monday for causing damage and escaping from lawful custody. Now, he had pleaded not guilty when he appeared before the judge previously. On Monday, he explained his plea is because he was assisted by a CID personnel and one Kwesi to escape from police cell. Some families of the kidnapped girls present at court were unhappy about the turn of events, especially when the ongoing trial is focusing on the suspect's escape from lawful custody rather than where the kidnapped girls are being held. Well, let's speak to the Public Relations Officer of the Takoradi Police, Olivia Adiku, for more on this. Good morning. Thanks for your company. Good morning. Help us understand what exactly are the charges Samuel Owusu Wills is facing.
Currently, he's being charged for escape from police custody.
Okay. And just help us understand, before he escaped, he was arrested on suspicion that he was involved in the kidnapping of some 3 girls, right?
Yeah.
And then he escaped and he was rearrested. So the question for many is, why are we, putting him before court for escaping lawful custody when he was arrested for something else, which is of much concern to families?
Yeah. The issue of kidnapping is still under investigation.
Okay.
Whilst he was being investigated, that is when he escaped from custody. So for the escape from custody, that is what we've been able to do something against him, and he's in court on that. But the issue of kidnapping is still under investigation because we really need to know where the girls are, what really happened. And even with that case, it is not the magistrate court which will deal with the case. It will go to the high court. So there is a procedure.
All right.
So for now, what the magistrate court is dealing with is his escape from lawful custody, while this investigation of the kidnapping is also ongoing.
Help us understand, if you can share with us, because we are told that because of some vital information, you're not able to tell us everything. But if you can, tell us what the progress of your investigation into the kidnapping is.
For now, we cannot put anything out on air.
But are we making headway? We heard from the regional director, we heard from the gender minister, who was very confident that these girls would be found. In fact, she did sound very confident, saying that they are fine, they are well, and they are alive. Do we still maintain that position?
Yeah, we still maintain, because as of now, we've been not able to determine whether the children are dead. If they are dead, where is their bodies? He's saying the children are alive. Now we need to get to know where the children are being kept to rescue them.
Okay. And another issue of concern is, why is Samuel Owusu Wills being kept in Accra while appearing before court in Takoradi?
Samuel Owusu is being kept in Takoradi. He was sent to Accra for some interrogation and he was brought back to go to court. So currently he is in prison custody in Sekendi.
In Sekendi, Takoradi. Okay. Let's talk about his confession, if you may want to put it, before the magistrate court on Monday. He did mention that he was assisted by one CID officer. Have you been able to identify who the CID officer is?
Yeah, he made a statement yesterday. And as you are aware, he didn't mention a particular name. He said he was aided by a CID man. So the regional commander has constituted a team, and immediately they need to investigate all those at the station there. Because at now we don't know exactly which CID personnel aided. So those who are on duty, all the CID people there are going to be questioned. So investigations have started, headed by the regional crime officer. So they are currently taking statements of all personnel. So through investigation, we'll be able to determine whether what he's saying is the truth or not.
Madam, permit me to ask this question. He did mention in court yesterday that if they lined up all the officers on duty, he would be able to pinpoint the one who assisted him. Has that been done at all?
That is why I told you that they've constituted a team to investigate. So during when the case is being investigated, all these issues that he mentioned will come up, and the investigative team will decide if there should be an ID parade. It will be done. But for now, they've just started with the investigation. So I think it will be appropriate for us to wait and see the outcome of the investigation.
Finally, before you go, DSP Olivia Adiku, we heard from our correspondent in the central region that in the wake of stories of kidnappings, the police there has decided to go to various schools and educate young people on issues of abduction and kidnappings and how to stay safe. Is anything like that being done in the Western region? Yeah,
Western region, actually, we even started last week. Some media houses reported on it. We started with the second cycle institutions. So far, we visited 9 secondary schools, including Bishop Potter Girls, Hantaman Secondary, St. John's, GSTS, St. John's School, Adembra Secondary School, and all that. So it's something that we started in the Western region last week. We'll continue to the first cycle institutions, then it gets to the tertiary level. So we started way back last week. Thank you very much for your time this morning. DSP Olivia Adiku is PRO of the Western region. Please, we've been joined by security analyst Adam Bona to understand some of the issues coming up from the security perspective. Thanks for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, this issue seems to be dragging and families are really getting impatient. What is the police not doing from your perspective in this matter?
Well, I think that so far, you know, until I have picked in talking to senior officers who have been involved in this rescue mission, the guy doesn't seem to be leading them to where they could find this victim, if indeed they are alive at all. Probably what the police needs to do is to go a bit further than, what do you call it, just what the information is giving them. And try to, I mean, he's not from this country. Maybe we need to know where he stays in Nigeria. Do we have to go there? Do we have to go and run some searches around Nigeria if already the police counterparts in Nigeria have already not done that? And so for me, I think so far the police have done what they have to do, but unfortunately the guy, per what I picked, leads them to areas that the victims are not, they haven't kept them there. So we need to continue to push the police and the executives to help bring back this girl.
When you have a situation like this, when a suspect is not cooperating, what are the other options available to the police?
They are acceptable ways of extracting information from him, which would not constitute torture. And so I'm sure that the police, if they haven't started, would be starting to probably use those type of mechanisms to make sure that he begins to talk. I mean, those practices, I won't put them out there, but those practices are acceptable, and the International Convention on Torture does not frown on that. And so I am very hopeful that they will push and use those mechanisms to get him to talk. But I know they have collected a lot of information from him in the past. They couldn't do any of that. But when the CID headquarters stepped in, they managed to get a lot of information. The only thing is key to whatever we are talking about here has to do with the victims. Once the victims have not been rescued, then everything we are talking about might not amount to anything until the victims are rescued. And so we need to stay on course and continue to pile pressure on the police, and hope that the police will pile pressure on the suspect to tell us what happened. Where are the ladies? Where are the girls?
Finally, Mr. Bona, the latest revelation by the suspect is that he was aided by a CID officer, allegedly, and another gentleman. He only gives a name as Kwesi. What is this latest revelation? How do you perceive this, and what are the issues that come out of this?
For me, I'm very disappointed that it had to take the suspect to be in court under cross-examination of a sort. Then he comes out with the bombshell that I am being aided. This information, you and I know, has been out there. Some of us picked information about he was aided probably many months ago. And so what the suspect has put out there are two things. It may be true, it may not be true. It may be a ploy to divert attention, but then my point is that probably the police should have seen this coming long ago and started working on him to make sure he doesn't do that. But it could also be true that he was aided, and if he was indeed aided, then it calls into question some of the statements that have come from the police that they didn't want to share information with us. They didn't want to tell us what was going on. They were doing things under the cover of darkness so that they are able to rescue these girls and all that. For me, there are more questions to ask than they are giving us answers with regards to how he was aided. I mean, this thing has always been out there. And so for him to say it in court, that I am told that the suspect is, the police officer in question has been detained, is in police custody as we speak, which is refreshing. And so they should probably do a lot more interrogation of that police officer. Let's see how complicit, he's been, and probably extend. It should go beyond just that police officer. How many more bombshells are we going to? Is he going to put out there? How many more statements of a sort with regards to some officers who might have aided him? We need to know, because then those who do this type of ransom, kidnapping for ransom, don't do it alone. They do it as a network. And so we need to know. It's worrying, I have to be very honest with you, at a point when we all know some of the challenges our police administration is facing with image issues. When this issue of this nature comes out, for me, I think the consequences are not too good for the image of the Ghana police system. But let's wait and hope that the regional police commander and his team would interrogate this man well, and the officer who has been arrested, interrogate him and not do anything that will probably hamper, this latest suspect in terms of the police officer, help him. If he has any clue where these people are, probably he will be the right person to also tell us if indeed what he did is what the suspect is telling us.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Adam Bona is a security analyst who's just shared with us that he's picked up some intel that this said officer who aided Samuel Owusu Wills has been detained. But earlier, we heard from PRO of the police in the Western region who says that the commander is putting together a team to investigate. So we'll try and reconcile the facts and let you know whatever it is that's on the ground. Now, some families of the kidnapped girls present in court on Monday were unhappy about the turn of events, especially when the ongoing trial is focusing on the suspect's escape from lawful custody rather than where the kidnapped girls are being held. Listen to some of the family members.
Listening to what is going on. But as I came to court this morning, I am so much disappointed in Ghana police. Because the kind of information that we've been giving to the police for the arrest of this guy, and today for us to come to the court and hear that the CID assisted the guy, then it means all the information that we've been giving to the police, it means a policeman can stand there and a foreign person.
Like, seriously, honestly speaking, we don't know what is going on. Because for we to come here and sit for 5 minutes and they say they have adjourned the thing to on the 18th, like, it's like they are joking with us. Where is my sister? That's what we need. Where is my sister? Because escape from cells and whatever, we don't care about that thing. We want my sister. Because me, the way the situation is going, we will strike again. No, seriously, we will do something. Because the way the thing are going, we don't like it one bit. Serious. And if they don't tell us any good thing, we will strike again. Seriously, that one day I will bet my life on it unless they kill me. Because the way the thing is going, we don't understand. So seriously, we are begging, please, they have to do something. By the end of this week, we have to see our sister.
The court has adjourned the case to the 18th of February for suspect Samuel Owusu Wills to bring his witness called Chrissy. The hearing was presided over by His Worship Michael.
So you heard there some relatives of these 3 missing girls in Takoradi questioning why the police would put suspect Samuel Owusu Wills before court on charges of escaping lawful custody. We heard earlier from ASP Adiku, who is a PR of the Western Region Police, that's because they've not finished investigation with the substantive matter, which is the kidnapping of these 3 girls.